actually learned an interesting thing from a tech guy this week that YouTube is one of the smallest consumers of bandwidth. We'll see if it works. Okay, it's working. Okay. So we are recording just to give everybody notice. Hey, Carlene.
Hey.
Record, because if I set it to record, and I usually start your stream early, as soon as I get here, if I set it to record, it'll be recording at that point on, so you'll have like this huge, maybe a half hour, 20 minutes full of
Gotcha.
nothing in the room.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I went ahead and did the live stream with YouTube. Hey, Terry.
Hi.
And on the road and in the car.
You have it on the one screen. Okay.
All right, we are going to go ahead and get started because, as always, we have a lot of stuff. Now, somebody emailed me. Martin, where's Louise?
I don't know. I lost her this morning. She's floating around somewhere. Did she email you for something? I'll go find her.
It's okay. It's all right. I just wanted to confirm with her that
I heard her voice. Oh, there she is. She's coming out of the laundry room somewhere.
okay. I think it was you that emailed me, wasn't it, Louise?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Over.
Hi, Betsy. Are you driving?
Yeah.
No, I'm riding.
Oh, okay.
No steering wheel here.
How you doing, Betsy?
I'm good. I'm good. So, Louise, we're going to go ahead and discuss your issue next week
Thank you.
so that everybody can be prepared and come join if they want.
Great. Yes, I will send that Microsoft notice also to you.
Okay. So,
Okay.
Louise is still getting notifications that she's out of space. She's out of cloud space. So what we're going to do next week, we're going to examine that in greater detail. She's going to send me the
Oh dear.
that she's out of space. Correct.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And what I'm not sure of without notification that she's getting is just on words alone, I can't tell whether or not that's actually coming from Google and Microsoft and how we go about that in determining what's real and what's not real. A lot of times you're going to get pop-ups and notifications that are totally not real. So, oh, and here comes Amy. And we want to make sure that we're not ever, and that's why Louise is asking the question, making sure that we're not ever clicking on that stuff when it says click here for more space or whatever, because those are most certainly going to be a problem. Also, because let's see, it's 5:49 in Quincy, California. Avril is not joining us, but Avril, she's not a morning person, and Medina should hear this. But she did have a question that I thought was also relevant that related to Facebook. So I'm going to throw that in for next week as well. So we're going to be talking about cloud storage, Facebook, and hers, Avril's, is about Facebook. When you see a post that says this puppy is missing, and I said, oh yeah, or this kid is missing, or this whatever, you know, please help, and all of those posts and what to do about them and how to sort of break them down and figure out, you know, what they are really what's really going on and why. So we're going to talk about that a little bit next week. But this week, what I said we were going to talk about was, first of all, funeral live streams. So let me back up a minute. We're safe. we are not evacuating because of anything from Hurricane Helene. We are going to Connecticut for a funeral that a family member died. He had cancer last week. So all is well. He was an older man, but we just want to support the family. So that being said, north of where we live in North Carolina, there is north and east, but also Tennessee, which is west. So I need you to not talk during my class, okay? Thank you. My driver is interrupting. He just waved hi to everybody. Oh, that's funny. So Tennessee, Asheville, Marshall, Lake Lure, Chimney Rock, those towns have been absolutely devastated. Some of them entirely wiped out. You can see before and after pictures, and there's nothing standing in some of those towns because of flash flooding of 500-year proportions. But we, in Franklin, some folks had power outage. We never had a power outage. Some folks had no internet and no cell service because almost everyone gave up their landlines. Those folks who did keep their landlines were very fortunate and pretty smart because they could communicate with the outside world in Franklin. In Asheville, no communication with the outside world. They're actually bringing helicopters of food and water and supplies in. And it's going to be bad for some time now. So it was pretty rare storm. Usually the mountains break up stuff like that. And it was just an incredible amount of water that has devastated. So there are lots of relief funds for North Carolina if anybody wants to help out in any way. And I know that Florida, once again, Steinhatchee, I believe, got the brunt of it. So that was a pretty bad storm, but we are safe and sound. So let's talk about funerals since I'm on my way to one. What's happening in the funeral world are funeral games, which kind of started around COVID, understandably so, where people could not get to a funeral or to be safe with distancing and all that, were not going to go, whether they could get there or not. And they would live stream them. Funeral home would live stream them. Well, the scam that's happening is disreputable people are saying it's a live stream of this funeral. Put your credit card here.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what? Who would do that? And so they're falsifying their address, looking like they are the funeral home and saying that they need to collect your credit card, and they make up a variety of excuses why. Some of them are so that you can send flowers or plant trees or whatever. Oftentimes now on funeral home sites, they have that. I've done that for a distant relative where we planted some trees in her honor. And that link was through the funeral home. So whenever you are going to do anything, if somebody dies in California and you're not there and it's not somebody, close enough that you're going to hop on a plane and go to the thing, but you want to send something, be very, very cautious about what you are clicking on that. Make sure that you're not getting an email that you're responding to. Oh, you saw that, cousin, Ron had died and you want to send something in honor of. Make sure that you are contacting directly. As you all know this, don't let somebody send you something and then you click thinking that you're doing something good for it. The live stream, I don't understand how people can fall for stuff like this. Sometimes I just don't, other than the fact that it goes with the whole grief and urgency kind of thing that people who prey on people who don't understand technology are just going to prey on emotions, just, because that's what they can do and that's what they're willing to do. So just be aware that when you're getting funeral links. Somebody sends you something that it is genuine, check it out. Go to the source yourself. If you can make a phone call and verify, do so. And don't ever, ever give them your credit card. You know, if you want to send flowers, go to 1-800-Flowers and send flowers. You know, do it in a way that you're comfortable with a business that you've dealt with many, many times, rather than going through something that's brand new to you, that you don't have the opportunity or time to verify. Terry.
A very popular in the towns, the group of towns where I lived in New Jersey. Since 2020, so many of the funeral homes have been doing a lot of services. Like they'll help you get the family needs. They'll put a list of, like, you know, bring desserts or like
Oh, interesting.
action at that site. And it was interesting. People like thought, you know, isn't that good? And then they said, no, you know, it's really not good, because again, because you, with that stuff, maybe you have to make a purchase. You want a copy of something from the funeral, you might have to make a purchase, not to watch the thing. It just got to be, it was such a great idea, and then it had to go away because people were ordering things, you know, like, it just, it's too bad, because, you know, it's a nice service to have that somebody's taking care of all the stuff that
Yeah.
you might have your cousin or sister to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It always had
Interesting.
funeral scams. People used to, when there was, everything was in the newspaper, they used to get, houses got robbed all the time when people were.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
it's unbelievable, besides the other things involved.
And so you're absolutely right. And I'm glad that you brought that up, Terry, because, you know, we tend to, it's interesting. We have a, I forgot what the name of it is, and I meant to write it down. I'm going to look it up and come up with that word next week. There's a phenomenon where when we look back, far back in time, we romanticize things. We think that things are far much better than they were, and that we look and nowadays and we go, oh, it's never been this bad. But you're absolutely right. It used to be that thieves would look in the newspaper to see who had died, see when the funeral was, and then go hit houses on those days when everybody was at the funeral. And so, you know, funeral scams are nothing new. It's just, you know, they don't have to leave their homes to scam you now or steal from you. They're just going to sit home and with a couple of keystrokes manage to do that. But thank you for bringing that up. All right. So the next one I wanted to talk about was a credit card breach, which you might not have been aware of because it wasn't specifically targeted at account holders with your personal credit card company, but it did hit Florida badly. So when you go to a business, that business with other companies that broker for credit card, right? Has an account with somebody, with a company who is, oops, am I sounding like I'm drunk? It says I have an unstable connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I got a good tower coming up. I see it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, back again.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna share a screen so that you can see. Let's see. It's actually not that one though. Let me close that a minute. So what happened is that the payment provider data breach exposed 1.7 million customers, and it focused on Florida. So you wouldn't even know, because really what's being targeted is the payment provider company. So it's called Slim CD, and it exposed the full credit card information of anyone paying at a merchant that uses Slim CD's services. It's a Florida-based gateway system, allows merchants to take any kind of electronic payment. On June 15th, it noticed suspicious activity it said they had access to Slim CD's systems for 10 months between, and between from August 17th of 2023 to June 15th of 2024. Now, it said they only had access to credit card information June 14th and 15th. I don't know how that you explained that. But basically it said that, it was a huge breach, 1.7 million customers in Florida. So that would include, all the kinds of folks who have come to Florida as tourists and that kind of thing. Anybody who shopped, at various merchants, and it does not, and Scott said, not Paddle the Florida Keys. Paddle the Florida Keys does not use Slim CD as its merchant for credit card companies. So how can you go with this? Well, I'm going to send you so that you can read the full article. But most important of all, always, always, always monitor your credit cards. How do you do that? You set up your credit cards on your phones and you make sure that you get a notification. I have my notifications set very, very low. I used to have it set a little high. I might be like, okay, if I lose such and such amount of money, I can deal with that. No, I have it set that every time that card is used, my phone dings. So I'm at the register and if it's a purchase I don't really care about, and the customer service representative says, would you like a receipt? My phone's already dinging me. I say, no, I have my receipt on my phone as we speak. I heard it go off. I know I've got it. I know I made a purchase. When that ding goes off and I'm not at a store making a purchase, I am instantly going to check my credit card so that if there's a purchase that I'm not aware of, and I can't tell you how many times when I will go, I got the notification, I get it as a text, and it says a credit card hold for, $100 was made. And I'm like, what did I spend $100 on? And because I also have it for my automatic payments for my propane, my electricity, my, any payments that I have that are automatic comes out of my bank account. I get a notification for that too, because it's coming through my.
Breaking up. You're breaking up again.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to set up the notifications on the app of each of the cards or bank or whichever,
Yes,
right? Is that how you
absolutely.
set it up?
Yep.
Okay.
But how do you do that?
So what I do is, I download, looking for my phone here. So first of all, I download my app for the credit cards. So here in my app list, there's my one credit card app. Down here, here's another credit card app. And then I have my two bank apps. I have
Okay.
one bank app there and another bank app there. So once I've downloaded for whatever thing, I go in and I create, each one has a notification. They have a security center on that app so that you can tighten up your security and be notified in whatever way is most conveniently for you. I do it as a text because
Can you put it
when a
on?
text happens, I get a ding. Okay, I don't do it as an email because I don't get a ding every time I get an email. My phone. So I don't do it as an email. I do it as a text because the text is going to get my attention. Some of them allow you to do it as a phone call. That would be annoying. But good question. Any other questions about that? How's my signal? Looks pretty good. So, Terry,
I think I'm aware. I do almost everything on my phone, but a lot of people don't like to do a lot of banking and credit card on their phone. And I think this is one of the exceptions that people might make, because it just is so important and it's so easy to do. If you get into your bank, it's going to give you every option. And they even do. I mean, I know like Bank of America or some of the big ones, they even still answer their phone sometimes and it will tell you what to do. They'll put you on to, no, seriously. When you just have looked at it and you have no clue, they'll tell you. But it is something that people have a very hard time with. Maybe not under 40, but almost anybody else has a hard time with. And I never did because I figured it's that convenient with me. It's going to be, it's so easy to check. I'll be checking on it more, or I'll be aware of my purchases.
That's a very good point. So if you or anyone you know is using a credit card anywhere, whether you're sitting, and there I go with, no, I have a good signal. If you're sitting at home using your credit card to buy things from your computer, you feel fairly safe. You are no safer sitting at home doing it if you don't know how to run a digital life with good security than going to a restaurant and paying with a credit card. It's the same. If you're paying with cash only in life and you're paying with checks, which it's kind of hard to do these days, you can send a check to the phone company. But for the most part, everything is run digitally through our banking systems, through mobile or internet or digital apps, whatever you want to call it. So if you know of people who are hesitant because they don't trust the technology, it is actually very secure, provided you know how to do it. And that means simply the things I know that I don't have to tell this group that, when someone calls from your bank, ding, 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 they're not from your bank. Your bank is not going to call you unless you set up a phone alert for something. You have to set that up. They're never going to call you and ask you for your account number. They're going to call and ask you for your username, your password, your PIN. They're never going to ask you those things ever, ever, ever. In the this past weekend, I went around my community and did some wellness checks and met some people I had never met before. I met an 80-year-old woman who, for the most part, she lives alone and she is very sharp on some things. And then when she got stressed or flustered, she lost a lot of her reasonability and thinking skills. I came to her house yesterday and someone called her from Medicare and was asking for information on her Medicare card. And I'm like, hang up. Stevens, hang up the phone, hang up. And so finally she said, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I can't talk to you now. But she has been scammed, according to her son, for credit cards as well. They're never going to call you. Your reputable company is not going to call you and ask you for that information. It is far safer for you to do digital, where you have two-factor authentication, you have passwords, you have your biometrics, whether you're using your finger, your face, all those things in place that are going to keep you safe. Use them, get comfortable with them, get familiar with them. They're far more safe. People think that checks are safe. There is literally this thing that I find hard to believe, but there's technology where people are stealing physical checks out of mailboxes, washing the ink off, not damaging the paper. I don't know how that works. I never erase an answer in math class, let alone on a check, but they're washing the ink off and writing their own check to themselves out of people's accounts. So, if you think that checks aren't stealable, you're wrong. And I don't think that this group thinks that at all. I think that that's more of maybe people you know, or friends, or family members who are not here, who are so savvy about all of these things. But your safest, truly, defense against any of this is knowing that it's out there, knowing to recognize what's real and what's not real, and using these things in a way that is safe and secure. Now, does that stop things from being hacked? No. Notice they're not hacking you for the most part, hacking your Facebook account. I don't know, just for fun. I can't see how that's profitable at all. But, you know, they're hacking big companies because that's where the money is. It's in a numbers game. If something gets hacked and you, like, let's say this Slim CD event, and you have all the notifications for your credit cards, it doesn't matter if you used that at all and you were part of using a merchant that got hacked, because you know when something is not real. And remember, we talked about the big breach that happened. I don't even remember which one was, but I strongly suggested that if you weren't going to buy a house, buy a car, buy a large appliance, or buy something that you needed to start a new account with, that you freeze your credit with all three of the credit reporting authorities, the TransUnion, Experian, and TransUnion. I forget the names of them, but you know what I'm talking about. And there goes my signal again. That you freeze your credit, because if your credit is frozen, nobody can take that information that they've stolen and set up a new account. Our social security numbers have been discovered on the dark web. There was huge breaches with that. And I am getting regular notifications that my social security number is now compromised. It's not just me. It was a huge breach. And so having, oh, I know it was the AT&T hack, because we had AT&T before, but you know, now our social security numbers have been hacked. So freeze your credit. Nobody's going to open up a new account if your credit is frozen. They can't. Okay. Because nobody who's, you know, let's say somebody has your information and they want to pretend they're you and open up a new account with Bank of America. And so they fill out all this information and using your stuff, and Bank of America goes to TransUnion, blah, 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 Experian. Oh, gee, no. I'm sorry, you can't, it's frozen. So then they're stopped. You stopped your accounts from any accounts, new accounts from being created. That makes sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Kathleen is frowning.
I got the three things.
Did I go
somewhere.
too
Well,
fast,
my-
Kathleen?
I
Huh?
know it.
Does
I
that
don't
make
think it
sense?
applies to me.
How-
I couldn't find the app for my, what do you call it?
For your credit-
MasterCard.
What is wrong? Come on.
Okay, so for your MasterCard, it's through your, generally it's through a specific bank.
Yeah, but it doesn't show. But I'll look further.
Well, just for
I'll
ha-has,
go
and it
into my
might be
bank
different.
account. I'll go into the app for my bank and find it.
So is your MasterCard actually a debit card?
No, it's a credit card.
Okay. Because debit cards are slightly different in that your debit card is specifically linked to the money that you have in the bank. Let's say, for instance, I have a bank account that I have a checking account with. And with that bank account and my checking account, I have a debit card. It
Mhm.
looks like a Visa card. It's a Visa card. It is a Visa card. But when I use it, the default is debit, which means it's coming out of my checking account, right? I can choose to use it as a credit card, and depending on how much I never do, so I don't know the answer to this, but depending on how much credit limit my bank has given me with this particular card, I can purchase using credit, but I
The
don't use
line
it
of
that way.
credit.
Yeah.
That's-
Well,
that's
it's
a line
credit,
of
like
credit.
it's a credit card. No, it's a credit card in here. It looks like a credit card. I can use it as a credit card. It is a credit card, just like all the other credit cards I've had, but I use it as a debit card, which means that it is coming specifically out of my checking account because that's how me and my bank has it set up. I have other cards that are just credit cards. Chase. I don't have a bank account with Chase. Everything I do with Chase, it's a credit card. They say I have a certain line of credit and I can spend up to that credit limit and I have to pay it back, at a certain rate. So, but those are two different cards. So if your card is a debit card, which means it's tied directly to the amount of money you have in your bank account, then that would be the app for your bank, not through MasterCard,
Hmm.
if that
I
makes
have
any
a-
more sense.
I have a MasterCard with RBC and I have a debit card with RBC.
Okay, so then you have to go to RBC
Yeah,
and you have to
yeah.
download
that's
their
why I'll
app.
check in the app later.
Yes, yes. Because it should be, they should have all the security there for getting those notifications. Good. All right, Martin. Oh, who looks a lot more feminine now?
It's me, Louise.
He had some furrowed brows. Did he understand what we were talking about?
Yes, we're
Okay.
we're questioning how does one get to the 3 credit reporting sites to mark that?
Yep.
on,
So, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up so we can just look at it and share it with you. All right, you can see my Google screen, right?
yes. Mhm.
Okay, TransUnion
Okay.
is one of them.
Mhm.
So TransUnion, and notice Amy Jarvis, this is not a sponsored. I love it.
No.
She always catches me on it. Generally
Mhm.
speaking, we'll just review when you
Very
do
good.
when we when you do a search, that usually
Mark.
the first one that comes up is sponsored, which means that it's been paid for, which sadly, Google and other search engines have been fooled where sponsored ones are not the actual ones. So my recommendation is not to click on sponsored, and generally speaking, to scroll down and look for the actual one. But in this case, this is not sponsored. It doesn't say sponsored. This is actually transunion.com. I
Okay.
can click the little 3 dots here and I can see
Oh,
more, and it says this is TransUnion.
click
So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Notice here it says credit freeze right here. Add or remove for a spouse. Huh. I'm just going to go with regular. Now I have an account with them. Obviously we all have accounts, but I've set it up so that I can log in. I can member log in here. I'm not going to do that because I need to act like I've never done this before, so that you can see. Sorry, we have a fly that's driving us crazy in here. You see me swatting around. So right here you can see get credit monitoring. You can do a search. Let's just do a search for credit freeze. What I do want to warn you, each of these companies, when we did this, when AT&T got hacked and it said, oh, we better do this right away. So I looked down and it says credit freeze lock versus lock. What's the difference? Very good. And I did these. I read what is the difference. And I read how to do a credit freeze. So the first thing it does when it comes up with doing a search for credit freeze is it wants to teach you all about it. So we'll do right here. We'll do what's the difference. And it's going to give you all of the information about what it is, what's the difference, why you should do one or the other, what sets them apart, and there it all is. What I do want to tell you after you've read this is that it's going to try and sell you a product. They are in business to make money. There's nothing wrong with them being in business to make money. Let me get back to the actual thing. All right, so then we have how to place. And again, it's going to want to sell you a product. It wants to sell you identity monitoring.
Me too.
None of this costs. All right. Quickest and easiest way to freeze is through the TransUnion Service Center. If you don't have an account, you'll need to provide personal information, pick a username and password, and then you'll see option for credit freeze on the home page and on the menu at the top. It's going to say add freeze. It'll say continue. So it's going to lead you right through this. If you're going to buy something, you can also temporarily lift the freeze, or you can remove the freeze altogether. If you temporarily remove it, I'm sure it's going to tell you exactly. So right here it says, what is this? Let's see if it goes through. How's my internet connection? It's not letting me do that. May have to read some more. All right, right here it is. A deferred lift is ideal if you're shopping for a loan for a major purchase. And you can also unfreeze, and you can do this by mail if you want. It takes much longer, obviously. These are the things you're going to have to use to provide to freeze by mail. You're going to have to verify your address. So it's going to ask you for some very specific information. You can unfreeze your credit permanently, or you can do a temporary lift of 15 days in advance. So let's say you know you're going to purchase a house, a car, whatever. Then 15 days in advance, you want to go ahead and lift it because you want to give your companies time to process all of that. Oh, look, John came in. So does that make sense, Louise?
Yes, absolutely.
And
Yep.
each of them, again, I was quite astounded how annoying it was that you really want to pay attention to the fact that they're trying to sell you something.
Exactly.
And you don't have to. Every time you had to go all the way down through all this stuff to say what you actually wanted to do was to freeze your credit. Not by identity protection, not by an insurance policy, not by this, not by that. Just wade through all of it's literally advertising that looks like information. It's like a big infomercial. Get to the bottom so that you can actually freeze it. It does not cost you anything. And in the email that I send out this week, I'll send you the links to each of the 3 companies.
Oh,
If you haven't done it, because remember, you have to do it with all 3. There are 3 companies in the United States. Sadly, Kathleen, I don't know what the situation
Yeah, I
is.
think their banking laws are different here, quite different. Or the
And
credit law.
I'll see if I can find out about that. I'll just ask my Canadian sister. And find out what she knows, but I'll also do a little bit of research. But because scammers know no bounds. You know, for the most part, the people who are trying to scam you aren't here anyway. They are operating in countries that have much more slack laws about all of this, and allow them to operate basically these scam factories where people are forced to do this. So anyway, if anybody nobody has any questions about how to do that. Good. All right. Welcome, John. All right. Next one is Apple support. And I'm sorry, we've done a lot of fun stuff over the last several months, and I've kind of avoided because it gets super heavy, but we're covering scams today. So I can't share that yet. That is one super annoying thing about Zoom, is that it won't let me just bounce from page to page. I have to open the page first. All right. Now, so sorry, all you Apple folks, everybody with an Android, raise your hands and be happy for a minute. But scammers advertise fake Apple Care service via GitHub. So Mac users who are looking for support or extended warranties from Apple versus Apple Care Plus support plans. Perpetrators are buying Google ads. Thank you, Amy, for not going to any Google ads. To lure their victims and redirect them to bogus pages hosted on GitHub, owned by Microsoft. Oh, and now I have unstable. I'm down to one bar again. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. All right, so I'm going to send you this. Basically, it's as simple as saying, hey, Siri, Google Apple phone support. And Google reportedly, air quotes here, paid, because of course they're in litigation, paid Apple $20 billion to be the default search engine, which displays results in Safari, along with ads, and they have a very lucrative partnership. And so you've got your Apple Care customer service. And what's happened is the fake Apple customer service pages are hosted on Microsoft's GitHub, and it looks like Apple. Now, here's the code where you could see if you actually were reading code that it is not true. They're showing this to show that it's not true. But what they do is they can swap phone numbers in case one got reported that was blocked. So let's say that, you know, you're working with Apple support, supposedly you think, and you realize it's fake. You block the number. They can swap out the phone numbers really easily so they can just keep going on their merry way. And you can see that there. This is like super nerdy, super techie stuff. But basically, the bottom line is, in the coding, you can see there it says call 1-8333, blah, blah, blah. That would be a button where that's what it's going to direct you to. And so it looks totally legit, and it's not. It's very easy to fall for, just like malicious Google ads and lookalike pages are. Scammers are preying on unsuspecting customers, thinking they're getting Apple agents. So how do you not do this? How do you not use a fake Apple support? And it says, if you want to find out, no, this is your digital footprint. Sorry. This is Malwarebytes, which Linda has sent to me, which I love their information. These are my favorite articles because it alerts me to other stuff to start looking for. In this that I'm going to send you so that you can see the whole thing about the Apple Care support thing, at the bottom, it says, if you want a free scan to check your digital footprint, you can click right there. So just so you guys can see, and I have done this because Malwarebytes, I believe, is a good company, and I'm going to do this. Notice I am up here through Malwarebytes, which is a virus support company, protection company, security. Malwarebytes.com, digital/footprint, all looks good to me. I am going to put my email address in there. You can see I've done it before. It automatically fills it in. And hopefully, if I have enough, there we go. And it says we sent where's my phone? A security code to be based. So now I have to go to my email and get my security code, because I gave them my email address, 230034, and this is a one-time code that verifies that I am who I am. And it's looking, detecting financial exposure, and what it says, 5 online accounts. This is WordPress, Spotify, X, and 2 more. My email was exposed. And again, you guys have seen this a million times. MyFitnessPal, high risk, don't have it. That's been almost 10 years now. Where has my email been exposed? Through my Windows device. It was not exposed on AT&T, yay me. My username is all over the place. I'm okay with that. It says my social security number was not found, but maybe at risk. That's actually not true, because with Google, it shows me on my dark web report that I actually have been exposed with my social security number. So now I can take action by getting Malwarebytes. So all of this is free, being able to see how are things exposed. Now I can, let's see if this one is a clickable link. Nope. Is this a clickable link? Nope. None of these are apparently, okay, it shows my, okay, so by doing that, I can see what the actual password is. These are not clickable links, sadly. So the Malwarebytes wants me to get Malwarebytes. I can click here, see your data breaches. Okay, here we go. And it says, how can we scan your digital footprint? Your data breaches are here, MyFitnessPal, Dropbox, 8Tracks. That was a long time ago. House, and I knew all of these. These were the things that were and have been for a long time. These are very old. These are newer. These are combo lists where information is stolen and then compiled in great big clumps. So this is where the real money is, not that MyFitnessPal was breached or House or any of those smaller companies that, you know, oh, well, big deal. This is where they are going to put a lot of people and a password that showed up in this. And these combo lists are bought and traded by the people who do the hacking and the stealing. LinkedIn, Canva, and it shows, you know, when this one was 2024, 2019, 2019. I'm not too worried. All of these, I knew about them. So nothing new here. There's nothing, but I do like the fact that there is information that I can access and find out. And of course, Malwarebytes wants my money. I would like to give them my money. I'm not going to until next year because I already have an account that I can't quit or get a refund with another company, but I am switching. So any questions about one, I feel very safe giving my email address. That's public information. Anybody can look that up. 2 Malwarebytes for them to do a scan. I know that that scan is accurate because I have seen it on my Google, because I do my Google security. I do checks with that. I get notifications from Google when my information shows up on the dark web. If you have a Google account, which most of us do, whether we use it for email or not, have email address. Denise Downing. She's not in the room, but I just happen to know that her email address ends in bellsouth.net. But she has a Google account because she has an Android device. Most people do have, even if you have Apple, you have Google accounts for some reason. That means that you can use Google's services to monitor yourself for any exposures on the dark web, and you should do that.
We've lost you, Betsy.
Wait, who? Some kind of wires. So nice to see you.
Yep, we can see you at the center.
Hi. How are you, Amy?
Good. Okay, we got to keep going with the class. Somebody lead it.
Somebody take control.
Yeah, somebody take control.
Can you please each send me your credit card numbers?
Yeah. Okay. Sounds okay to me.
Because that's not really funny.
So Amy, how's the weather where you are?
It's absolutely beautiful. How's Florida?
It's pretty hot, but it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'll see
Amy,
you guys
you're
in person.
Chicago, right, Amy?
Kankakee, yes, south
Yeah.
of Chicago.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah. So who's going to be in the Keys to go to Joy in person? Anybody?
I'll be
Hey.
there. I'll be there January.
Oh, good. I'll get to meet you. I will too in January.
I just finished infusing my butter for my chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, nice.
Shame
My
on
wife-
you.
My
No,
wife
we're gonna,
just hit me in the back.
no, we're gonna talk about that because,
Oh, yeah. No,
because-
I'll give you the address when I get down there and
yeah, we'll talk, but I'm not gonna talk
Oh.
about it here. I don't trust,
that's all right.
and on the system, not, certainly not any of you. I trust all of you, but
Yeah, well,
Yeah, calendar girl.
I'm
yeah,
back.
Okay.
yeah.
Ah,
So, something happened this morning and maybe you all can help me real quick while we're waiting for Betsy, but I was.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay,
But
so
go
you can
ahead.
hear.
I want to
Oh,
hear.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. I'll talk about it later.
No,
Oh, well, you're not finished yet with what happened.
no, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was perusing on Facebook and it was like, oh, I wanted to see more about this article. And then all of a sudden it looked like I'd gotten scammed and it was like, whoop, and then, alert, virus alert. And I'm like, oh boy. So I thought of all my tech class. I hurry up and went and changed my password in Facebook. Has that ever happened to anybody?
No,
Oh,
Yes,
great.
but it's on a computer, a laptop, not a phone. Only
Okay.
when I used to use a desktop, I think,
Okay.
long time ago. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So anyhow.
But
kinda
good for
under-
you. That's
Mhm.
awesome. That's
Yeah, where did
awesome.
I learn to change my Facebook? I can't have my my password. Where did I learn that? Just kidding.
But that's so awesome because even whether it was a real scam or not a real scam,
Yeah.
you took advantage of the opportunity to be secure
Yeah.
and you changed your password, which remember what I always say is that you should be changing these every 6 months, just like the batteries in your smoke detectors. And if you
Yeah.
have one of those 10-year smoke detectors now, do it when the clocks change. And if they get rid of that, then set yourself an alarm.
Yeah.
Take out your calendar, change my password, you know? And if you use Google on your phone, you can do password checkups really, really easily. So like,
Oh,
and with Apple too, he says.
yeah.
okay.
Brand new.
I didn't
Oh,
know.
it's brand new. Okay,
I didn't
wait a
know
minute.
that.
Now you may speak. Let's let him speak now.
Poor Scott.
Last week, and you have a password app now that's comes free. Apple searches all your passwords and tells you if you need to change them or update them.
Okay. So
You don't do
what
duplicates or anything.
what update was it?
Most recent iOS 18.
iOS 18. Let me take your phone.
On the second.
No, we can't hear Scott, so you'll have to tell us what
I
he's
know
saying.
I'm gonna he's yakking away like he can hear you. Like you can hear him.
Oh.
Right up here.
Password key, little key thing. Swipe. Key thing.
Yep, I see it. Okay, so on his Apple phone, I do like it when I get to play with this phone. Right here, it looks like that for you, all you Apple users. Now,
Mm.
Apple has always used the keychain, right, as a password manager, but this one you set
Makes the keychain easier.
it makes the keychain easier to access. It also, let's see, let's show it to your face. Oh, too slow. Try Face ID again. There you go. It opened it up. Face not recognized. I can put in the passcode. I know all your, okay. And so then this is what it looks like when you open it up, Apple people. So I know we have quite a few Android people here, but you can see there's his pass keys. There is his passwords, Wi-Fi passwords, codes, security, and deleted. Would you say?
Tab for-
Security. So I'm just gonna say these numbers. He doesn't care. So all passwords, he has 274. I win. I have way more than that. Pass keys, he has 7, which is great. Pass keys are much more secure. Codes, he has 0. I don't know what codes are on this. Wi-Fi, he has 91 saved Wi-Fi. So you know how when you go to a place and you have your settings set for remember this Wi-Fi next time, particularly if it's password protected, which is what you should always be using, is if he, you go to the Auto Community Center and once you've connected to their Wi-Fi, you have it so that it's saved. And he's got 91 saved here. That's good. But security, he has a little red thing here. He has 120 passwords that need attention. That means that they are duplicate passwords, or there's something flawed with them. I'll just go with duplicate because I know my man. And he has two deleted passwords. He's giving me American Sign Language now, the universal American Sign Language, using one finger, one particular
Oh, I
finger
love
in his-
that.
I might.
Love that. Boy, between the cookies being made and the sign language, it's a great class.
Yeah. We're rocking and rolling, baby.
Yeah.
So going to mine,
How did, how-
so
I
go
have,
ahead.
how did, how did Scott get that app, that passkey app? I don't see it.
So you
And I-
download the operating system 18, the update for 18
Yeah,
says Apple 18 update, iOS 18,
Right, it's down.
brand new, just out a week ago.
Probably already automatic.
He said it probably already automatically down. So did you have to download it or it did it?
I did.
He did it. He
Okay,
did. So
I don't
go
see
to
it.
App Store. Is it in App
No,
Store?
Settings.
It's in settings.
Yeah.
It's not an App Store. It's in settings. So let me go,
Settings.
slow down. Settings and then general. Software update, right? Settings, general, software update. And he now has iOS 18
okay,
and it came automatically, he said.
all right, thank
It's
you.
brand new. Great question. On an Android phone, what I do is I'm going to back up here. I'm going to go to the G, not Chrome, but I'm going to go to the G here. When I go to the G, that opens up Google and my account is up here. Sorry, bumps in the road, is the little icon up in the top right-hand corner. I tap on that and then it gives me the drop down for all my Google accounts. But right there, it says Google account. I'm going to tap that bar and then this is my Betsy Base Google account. What I'm going to do is there are some tab headings at the top here. I scroll sideways. So see how this little list moves? That little list is everything about all my Google stuff. I always recommend looking at these, just perusing every now and then, because every time I go here, I learn something new. I'm like, oh, that's where that lives. Oh, I can do that there, which is different than settings on my phone. This is my Google account, which is all my cloud everything. So I go to security and it says your account is protected. And I have the nice green shield here because I'm super protected. And I scroll down and I look, and this is why I was laughingly, lovingly saying I won, because when I look at my passwords, I have 418 passwords. And I can see that my passwords are safe and secure. And it says your devices where I'm signed in. It says he's doing a halo over his head right now.
For your head.
It's for my head. Everywhere I go, I have little green things, not yellow, not red. That means that I'm on top of my security with my Google accounts, with my sign-ins, where any security might have happened. And I can do a checkup. It's protected. The security checkup has checked your account and found no recommendations. And then so I can read that. If there are any recommendations, it's going to show up as yellow. It says no harmful apps are found on my phone. Recent security, here's my activity for the last 28 days. My two-step authentication is on. Third-party connections, one app or service has some access, and that would be Zoom, because I like to look at Gmail settings. It says setting. It says it's because I have blocked email addresses. And that's what's the sensitive area. I have a lot of blocked ones actually. Cause if I'm getting spam, I'm gonna go, nah, don't want you anymore. And then my saved passwords also get a green check mark because they're unique. I use the suggested password. They're very, very tough ones. All right, so that's my Google account. I showed you how to do it, how to get to it, how to check it, making sure that you have everything verified, and that everything is safe and secure. I also have, and there's what I was talking about, that dark web report is on. So if something happens in dark web, I know about it, and I can click here and it says see results. And oh,
Not so good reception, Betsy.
yeah, and I'm going through a really mountainous area right now. We are just about done. Dark web, and that gives me a report. Where do I show there is my social security number showing up one reason. But my credit, so nobody can set something up new. I'm going to send you links to all of this stuff. You can rewatch it on YouTube if you forgot what we talked about. Send me any questions you have. Next week, we are going to talk about changing our passwords, even though I think you all know how to do it. Somebody specifically asked for the step-by-step for it again, so we're going to run through it. We're going to talk about Facebook and the cloud and whatever else you send me. Questions?
No, thank you
comments?
very much.
Thank you,
Love you
Betsy.
all.
I'm gonna
Good
skip
stay
next
safe.
week. Betsy,
Thank you,
I'm
Betsy.
skipping-
Glad you're
Okay.
safe.
I'm gonna skip next week. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
good.
Hey, did you get,
Joyce, all
Betsy,
is
did
well
you get hit by
there?
the hurricane? Betsy,
Did
did you
not.
get hit by the hurricane?
Nope,
No?
did not. We're an hour and a half south of it,
I got you.
thankfully.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah. We got very lucky. All right, guys,
Well,
thank
that's great.
you.
Okay, bye.
Hey,
Take care.
bye.